I'm Ariana. Nice to meet you.
How lovely to meet you.
Awesome. So to start off, are you afraid of heights?
Sometimes it's a gamble. I mean, I definitely have had my palms sweaty and my stomach kind of going up to my throat. And I've definitely felt that way before, but not too bad. I don't think I could have shot this movie if I had a crippling fear of heights.
I know I was talking to Sam, the director, yesterday, and I think some people might assume that a lot of it is CGI, but you guys were actually like 100 feet up on kind of like a mini tower. How was it like to shoot like that and in such an enclosed space?
Uh, Incredibly immersive. I mean, you're exposed to the elements, the bugs, the flora and fauna of the desert. And it really made our job, I think, a harder and easier in different ways. Because we didn't have to pretend that we were heating up in the sun, because we actually were heating up in the sun.
Yeah, and how you're mostly only working with one actress the whole time, Virginia. How was it like to shoot a film basically with only one other person to work with?
Uh, I think thankfully that could be rough if it wasn't a good pairing, but thankfully, uh, Ginny and I have a very compatible work style, I would say. We both apply ourselves with a lot of intentionality. We love what we do. So getting to work with her solely the whole time, it was a dream. I mean, she's just such a pro.
For sure. And another one of your kind of quote unquote co-stars are vultures. How was it like to work with those animals and have them kind of be the antagonists of the movie?
Well, let me tell you, diva of the shoot. No, I mean, it was pretty incredible seeing them in person, because they are big. They are big birds. Um, and when they'd come to set and we'd hear, the vultures on set, because you have to stay calm, especially when you have an animal on set, especially with the vulture, we had to kind of keep energy down, and not create an environment that would cause it to feel unsafe in any way. So, it's kind of quiet on set, and you see the big truck, the big van with the cage. And I remember kind of walking over and checking out the vulture for the first time and seeing its little eyes and its beak, right there in the dark. It felt like Jurassic Park. It was pretty wild.
I could definitely see that. The movie has a lot of physical elements, obviously. How did you prepare to play Becky mentally and physically?
I really do feel like everything I've worked on up to this point prepared me in a lot of ways. I have a ballet background, done taekwondo, kickboxing, very active kind of lifestyle. So thankfully I already had a foundation for the action side of it, if you will. But as far as the emotions go, I think having gotten to work in the horror genre and having had experiences filming scenes where you need to have your emotions go up to a 10, really helped me map out what I was going to do with Becky, because I had to map it out of where she was at different points, because we filmed out of order and we're just on that tower, which just makes you like, you don't know what day it is. You don't know where your character is when you're on one location the whole
Mhm.
time. Yeah, I would say ultimately, I think my past self and who I've been really helped prepare me for Becky, but also a lot of it was on set training, if you will, on set development. As we went on, we were growing as well.
Yes. How would you say that you're similar to Becky and how are you different?
I would say I'm actually very similar to Becky. I mean, I'm different in that I don't go do extreme climbing. Uh, I'm not an adrenaline junkie per se, although I did enjoy the rush of doing my own stunts. Um, I would say I really related to Becky's uh, internal nature. Hunter is super larger than life. she's living out externally, and Becky's the opposite, right? She's an overthinker, dealing with a lot of anxiety, dealing with some really, really heavy emotions. And her reaction to those heavy emotions is to go internal, while Hunter's is to go external, right? And go do crazy things.
Yes. Another character in the movie who doesn't have a large part physically, but mentally has a large part is Jeffrey, who plays your dad. How was it like to kind of build that connection with him to make it seem authentic of this daughter-father relationship?
I think so much of it was a big part of it was Scott's writing. I mean, he's a dad himself. And I think so much of the tension that he built in there with the characters made it really easy for us to create those feelings. It really was in the writing. And I mean, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, he's a pro. He's awesome. He's so cool. He also is like, I mean, supernatural. He's such a great dad, right? He's so good at playing a dad.
Yeah.
I keep joking that anytime he's the dad, I'm always like, stupid kids, listen to your dad, you know, and I got to be the stupid kid this time.
Yes. Speaking of the writing of it, how was it like to read the script? Because the movie kind of goes one way, then another. It's just a lot as a viewer. How was it like to read it and become attracted to the project?
I love that. It was a lot. It was a lot. I honestly, I think I was just so in awe of everything that these girls go through from reading the script, and especially Becky, and the idea of getting to be in a movie where I'd get so many scenes to act as the character. I've done a lot of ensemble work, so I'm used to kind of dipping in and playing my character for a little bit and dipping out. The idea of getting to be a character through the whole movie, not to mention a character who's going through such insane things, and that Scott Mann, our director, wanted to do so much of it. He wanted to do it practically. I mean, sign me up. It was a dream.
Yeah, the movie is it's one of those movies that you definitely should watch twice because it goes one way and then it goes another. For sure. Speaking of the movie and editing, I had read recently that it originally had more kind of quote unquote explicit words, and that you guys had to use deepfake technology because you couldn't shoot it all over again. Have you seen kind of the final cut?
I did. I have, but I didn't know that anything was changed, of me at least. As far as I know, my mouth made those movements. I mean, it's incredible, right?
Yes.
Absolutely amazing. I didn't know until Scott told me that they had to spend so much time working on that. I had no clue.
Yeah, it's definitely seamless. And I was just very surprised because I feel like you would kind of notice those things, but you don't. Especially, I feel like movies use a lot of CGI these days, which is understandable. And I feel like sometimes it's noticeable, but it wasn't noticeable for this at all. Also, so you also work with Mason Gooding for like a little bit. He's there for a second. How was it like to build this bond? Like, he's your husband. How was it like to kind of have that bond, and even in the flashbacks that we see on her phone?
Well, first off, Mason is quite frankly the most angelic human I think ever. Could not be nicer, could not be kinder, could not be more aware of every single person around him and making sure he is kind to every. I mean, he's just awesome. But yeah, no, we had some short scenes together. Our opening scene, we actually didn't get to his and I, our stuff for quite a few hours. So he and I got to sit for hours. And I spent the time talking about my husband.
Oh, you're married.
I am.
Congrats.
And I'm a very in love human being. And Mason was talking about who he was seeing at the time. And we were just fanning over the people in our lives. And we had a really lovely time passing the afternoon by with our chatting. And he likes comics and stuff, so we were geeking out as well. And so yeah, I mean, he was there for a short time. It would have been lovely to have gotten to work with him even longer, because he's a great human.
For sure. And this movie, which is kind of uncommon nowadays, is going to be in theaters. How does it feel that nowadays you're going to have this movie and this experience in theaters, which I think is kind of necessary for its IMAX, all of that nature?
I mean, I really think a lot of people are going to get to have a little bit of a taste of what Ginny and I experienced by having it in such a large scale. There's just nothing like being in a dark theater with a group of people with such a massive visual in front of you. It's incredible. And your body responds to it in a way that you just don't get by sitting at home with your projector or TV or whatever you're using. You know, you can take a break at any time. With this, you can't get away. It's just, it's playing. And especially with this movie, I mean, use the bathroom before, get a group together, because you're not going to want to miss a moment of what's on that screen, right? It's just,
Yes, for sure.
It's crazy.
Yes. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, time, for taking the time to talk to me. Congrats on these movies and your future projects. And I hope to talk to you again soon.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you.